The answer is 4. Explanation. Causes for the downfall of the Mughal Empire. Orthodox policies of Aurangzeb. The reforms brought about by Aurangzeb in the realm of religion, administration, economic as well as political were initiated on the basis of the orthodox attitude of the emperor. Constant rebellions. Aurangzeb's rule was marked by rebellions from all quarters. The oppressive policies of the central authority led to frequent rebellions by small clans such as the Jats, Satnamis, various provinces such as Bengal, northeast, northwest and the Deccan. The Maratha, Sikh and Rajputs were a regular threat to the Mughal rule during the reign of Aurangzeb. Degeneration of the Mansabdari system. Weak successors. Factionalism. Invasions by Nader Shah and Ahmad Shah Abdali neglected the development of the navy. Draining of the treasury. Answer is 3. Explanation. Tipu was commonly known as the Tiger of Mysore and adopted this animal as the symbol of his rule. He learned shooting, riding, and swordsmanship at a very young age. That is the reason he, at the young age of 15, won a war with a force that was only 2,000 to 3,000 people strong. He played a major role in building a navy in Mysore consisting of 20 battleships of 72 cannons and 20 frigates of 62 cannons. Tipu Sultan was a great soldier and saved the South India from British invasions for a long time. He learned military strategies from the French. The Second Anglo-Mysore War dragged through 1783, and into the early part of 1784, the East India Company eventually accepted defeat and signed the Treaty of Mangalore in March 1784. He crippled the hopes of Englishmen for a drastically chaotic transition of power. The Fourth Anglo-Mysore War was Tipu Sultan's last, where he lost his life at the hands of the British military, led by Sir Richard Wellesley, Earl of Mornington. Answer is 2. Explanation. Following the Treaty of Allahabad, 1765, Robert Clive set up the infamous dual system of administration in Bengal, wherein the company acquired the real power, while the responsibility of administration rested on the Nawab of Bengal. Under the dual or double government system, the company got both the Diwani, revenue, and Nizamat, civil administration, functions of Bengal from 2 different sources: Diwani from the Mughal Emperor, and Nizamat from the Nawab of Bengal. The system had many weaknesses that ultimately led to administrative breakdown. The peasantry of Bengal suffered greatly due to the decline of agriculture and arbitrary revenue demands. Trade and commerce were disrupted, and the industry and skills ruined. Answer is 2. Explanation. After the Second Anglo-Maratha War, the Marathas made one last attempt to rebuild their old prestige. They wanted to retake all their old possessions from the English. They were also unhappy with the British residents' interference in their internal matters. The chief reason for this war was the British conflict with the Pindaris, whom the British suspected were being protected by the Marathas. This war led to the end of the Maratha Empire. All the Maratha powers surrendered to the British. An obscure descendant of Chhatrapati Shivaji was placed as the ceremonial head of the Maratha Confederacy at Satara. This was the last major war fought and won by the British. With this, the British controlled most parts of India directly or indirectly. Delhi was acquired. Explanation. The Charter Act of 1833 was passed in the British Parliament, which renewed the East India Company's charter for another 20 years. This was also called the Government of India Act 1833, or the St. Helena Act 1833. Features of the Charter Act of 1833. The company's commercial activities were closed down. It was made into an administrative body for British Indian possessions. The company's trade links with China were also closed down. This act permitted the English to settle freely in India. This act legalized the British colonization of the country. The company still possessed the Indian territories, but it was held in trust for His Majesty. Answer is 4. Explanation. Famous leaders of the revolt. Kanpur revolution led by Nana Shaheb with the help of his lieutenants Tatu Tope and Azamullah. Lucknow by Begum of Awadh, Hazrat Mahal, with the help of peasants, zamindars and sepoys. Jhansi by Rani Lakshmi Bai, widowed queen of Gangadhar Rao, along with Tatu Tope. Bihar led by Kunwar Singh, a ruined zamindar. Bareilly by Khan Bahadur. Faizabad by Maulvi Ahmadullah. Answer is 4. Explanation. Causes of failure of Revolt of 1857. Revolt failed to embrace whole India. Only 1/10th of Indian population and 1/4th of Indian area came under its impact. Different sections of society like moneylenders, educated men and merchants were against the revolt. Superiority of British resources viz. Rifles, communication, transport etc. Lack of proper plan and strategy to move ahead with the movement. The electric telegraph kept the commander-in-chief informed about the movements and strategy of the rebels. Answer is 1. Explanation. East India Association was an organization established by some Indian students in London on 1 October 1866 on initiative of Dadabhai Naoroji. It was one of the predecessor organizations of the Indian National Congress. The several objectives and activities of East India Association were as follows. Its stated objective was to advocate for and promote public interests and welfare of Indians. It worked towards presenting the correct information about India to the British public and voice Indian grievances in British press. Answer is 3. Explanation. The Indian Councils Act 1909 or Morley-Minto Reforms or Minto-Morley Reforms was passed by British Parliament in 1909 in an attempt to widen the scope of legislative councils, placate the demands of moderates in Indian National Congress and to increase the participation of Indians in the governance. Features. The Act enlarged the size of the Legislative Council both central and provincial. It introduced separate and discriminatory electorate. The Act empowered the members to discuss the budget and move resolutions before it was approved finally. They were given rights to ask supplementary questions and move resolutions too on matters related to the local bodies. The members given right to discuss matters of the public interest. However, the House was not suggest in the Lucknow Pact, self-government in India, abolition of the Indian Council, separation of the executive from the judiciary, salaries of the Secretary of State for Indian Affairs to be paid from British coffers and not the Indian funds, 1/3 representation to be given to Muslims in the central government, the number of Muslims in the provincial legislatures to be laid down for each province, separate electorates for all communities until a joint electorate is demanded by all. The introduction of a system of weightage for minority representation, it implied giving minorities more representation than their share in the population. Increasing the term of the Legislative Council to 5 years. Half the members of the Imperial Legislative Council to be Indians. All elected members to be elected directly on the basis of adult franchise. 4/5 of the members of the provincial legislatures to be elected and 1/5 to be nominated. Members of the Legislative Council to elect their president themselves. Thank you, and please subscribe to channel, and you can visit our website, and you can join our Telegram channel, or contact us on WhatsApp number given here.